Sorry, hi everyone. Welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do under these very, very difficult circumstances. It's been an absolute rush this evening. I've only literally just got everything set up in time. But it's Monday. Thank Christ that day's over. My name is John, your host as always, and welcome to episode 51 of Daily Live Chat with John, where I talk to you guys about the latest news, mostly West Ham stuff. Don't really like talking about rumours, as you guys know, and we also interact with each other as well. You guys ask me questions, we talk about things, I interact with you, etc., etc. Okay, so as always, let's start off by saying who to see in the chat. And first and foremost, as always, it's Rick. Hello, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Mark's back. Hello, mate. Got something for you, actually, mate. Well, not for you specifically, but I thought you'd quite like that. Otis Dry Irish Stout, and it is from. I've had a few sips of it, and so far it is as dry as your sense of humour, sunshine. But I hope you're keeping all right, and of course, likewise to Rick as well. Hello, Baron. Hope you're doing all right. Andy's in as well. Baron says, "Wow, 51. Time flies when you're having fun." It does, mate. It does, and well rhymed as well, for that matter. But yeah, it's gone quick. It has gone quick. 51 days back to back now in what's going to be recorded in the week that is now going to be recorded in history as an unprecedented week when it comes to football, because obviously in 2 days' time the Premier League returns with was it Aston Villa and Sheffield United and City, Arsenal. So yeah. And Mark says, to be sure. But yeah, there's not a huge amount of information to talk about, but there's quite a few interesting things at the same point. For example, waking up this morning, obviously today, public transport, you have to wear face masks or face coverings, as they're calling them, which I have no issue with as an asthmatic. Apparently that rule has been taken out. There are certain circumstances where you're not allowed to, where you've got permission. Excuse me, you've got permission not to wear a face mask. But yeah, it's a bit weird that one of the rules that the exemptions has been taken down now for. Some people with respiratory problems are no longer exempt from it, from what I'm looking at. I'm gonna have to double check this, because this is crazy. It's ridiculous. So there's a lot about mental health and stuff, which is fine, if you're infirm to do it and everything. But yeah, that's my issue. And also today, for that matter, is also when all non-essential shops have been able to open, and surprise, as we all would have expected to see, there's a load of queues of people all over the place trying to get into their shops in the local high street. Christ knows how bad Westfield and Stratford was today, and Westfield out in over in Shepherd's Bush is as well. It's ridiculous. No, it's crazy. Yeah, no, hello, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Chris says, so sorry, John. I'm not going to make it today. I've got stuff to do. Have a good one. Cheers, mate. Thanks for popping on. Letting us know anyway. Baron says, didn't even notice the rhyme himself. And Gary's in. Hello, mate. Yanoi asks, has it over and finished coronavirus in the UK? Far from it, mate. Far from it. Today, it was reported that in the last 24 hours, there's only been 38 deaths. So we're getting close, and 1,068 new cases, if I remember correctly. So we're getting there, but we're nowhere near in the position of New Zealand. It's just, and also for that matter, there's been a second spike in Beijing and parts of the US, which has made the stock markets panic, and global stock markets are tumbling as a result, which is understandable. I mean, Gonzo touched on it briefly with his video this morning, when he was talking about GDP. For those that don't know, GDP stands for gross domestic product. So the economy shrank by 20.4% in April, and officially, if we have the same form of reduction again for May, then we are officially in a recession. And there's talk about the fact that it's going to be the worst recession for almost 300 years. Almost 300 years, and that's how bad it is, and it's going to take us years to get out of it. And one of the reasons why is because we don't make enough products here in Britain. I mean, obviously the farming industry is great, and it's good to see that there's been a resurgence in recent times over the last couple of years for more jobs being available in car manufacturing shops and stuff, so that's good from that side of things. But yeah, we're gonna be stomped for a long time still to come, unfortunately. Mark says if you're queuing to get into Primark, you're a sad twat. You're twat if you want to queue up anywhere, to be honest with you. You don't need to go you don't need to go to Westfield. You don't need to go out. It's just gonna be it is gonna be a new second, a new spike if people don't figure themselves out. But you never know. We never know. Baron says, "I'm glad I live in New Zealand. I'm German." Okay. Andy says, Bicester village near him is completely rammed. It would be. He says, in the mountain of his country, I heard they shoot people while with corona in case it spread to the mainland. It's not good. Military country, agreed. Gary says 5,000 new cases. I am a test for the app, and it tells you real daily cases. It's gone down, though it was 9,000. Mate, that's not true. It's new users. It's not new cases. It's new. It's the people that have been identifying. I know what you mean to a degree, but it's to say it's people that are signing up on it, and the amount of people and cases and stuff. But yeah, either way. I mean, unless you've been living in the Isle of Wight, which is where the test and track and trace app was first tested, it's only been available within the rest of the UK within the last 2 weeks, if I remember correctly, because there was 30,000 people signed up to it. So and from what I am understanding of it. But yeah, it could well be the fact that we could see a second spike. It's possible. Anything's possible, especially when it comes to mob mentality. Anything is absolutely possible. And I says, I only queued up to watch JP's West Ham stream. I think you mean, is that Wake Up? I think that is, mate. I'm not sure. Yeah, English is hard. Agreed. And I'm sure, if I remember correctly, what Kazakhstanian language is probably just as hard, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's right, mate. I think I've got a vague idea what you're talking about, but it's been good. Double check Google Translate, fella, or even what's the word? What's that? Is that translation? Babelfish. Babelfish is a good one as well. It stemmed from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Babelfish website. Okay, so it does seem that, turning to West Ham stuff now, it does seem that Ogbonna is close to getting fit for the Wolves game. Now, obviously, as I said, that we're going to be seeing, we're going to be seeing more and more information coming out the closer we get to the game. You know, for example, it's the Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has been doing live conversations as we're talking about at the minute. QUEUE. Yeah. But yeah, I only queue up to watch JP's West Ham stream. Thank you, mate. I'd say I had a vague idea of what you were talking about because I could see from the context of the conversation. But yeah, it's weird. But yeah, as I say, so Ogbonna is coming close to fitness. So this is a conversation I had with Kent yesterday, to a degree, because I asked a few of you guys to have a look at a video that I'm testing for the Wolves preview. Because for those that have been on the channel right from the start, so Rick may remember this, when I started doing my match previews way before, 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, I started using animation, and I brought that animation back. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be interesting because I'm still mucking around with it a little bit. I've got Wednesday off to make sure that's because I say that's when I'm going to be recording it. So I've got Wednesday off to make sure they've got everything ready to go for Wednesday night because it's going to be available. Rick and Wally are going to be able to see the preview first before anybody else because it's part of a perk for being a Patreon. But the preview itself will be up at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. So keep an eye out for that. But as I say, because just on the off chance that Ogbonna isn't fit enough for the Wolves game, I've got, even if he is, I think he's going to be on the bench. If I'm completely honest with you, who would you have in centre back now? Because Kent was saying it while we were talking about it, was that you're absolutely right, mate. Rice did play a centre back alongside Diop for some portion of the friendly game against QPR. So could we see Declan Rice in centre back, bringing in the likes of Lanzini or maybe even Wilshere? Mate, no, Wilshere has to be on the bench for Wednesday, which we'll talk again for Saturday, which we'll talk about Wednesday. But yeah, as I said, let me know whose centre back pairing you would have. Would you have Balbuena and Diop? Would you have Diop and Rice? Would you have Rice and Balbuena? Would you have Diop and Cardoso for that matter as well? For that matter, so see what you guys are. I'll see what you guys are saying in a minute, just as I try and catch up on there. Said Gary says I was asked to use an app right from the start, and it gives you zooms, except zooms. Really good app. Don't know why they asked me. And he says pictures of the Nike store in Oxford Street was stupid. I can imagine. Kent says I've not been anywhere, but from what I've seen online, most places around the ready. It's worrying. It is. It's how stupid people can be. Baron says glad to be honest. I like Ogbonna. He has a way. He has a way with that lovely head of his. Mark says Adidas over Nike. Kids today. Do you know what, mate? Yeah, I mean, in the back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was all about the Nike Air, the Air Jordans, wasn't it? The Nike Air Jordans. That was all the adverts you saw. It was in Back to the Future as well, for that matter. It's just stuff like that. Yeah. And he says absolutely, Mark. Mark says Diop and Balbuena as centre back pairings. Rick says Diop and Rice for him. Andy says Diop and Balbuena, aka the General. Yeah, I can see where you guys are thinking of it. That's it's an interesting combination. It's going to be difficult. Personally, maybe not for Wolves, or maybe for Wolves actually, because it'd be an unknown quantity. Because apparently Cardoso is deemed to be still quite raw in the way that we've been referring to to Michael Antonio for the last few years. So maybe we could put him in. Maybe we could put Cardoso in. It's not a bad idea. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not a bad idea. Kent says Rice, Diop, Balbuena, liability. Rice and Diop. Full stop. I'm guessing that's meant to be. Balbuena is liability. His distribution for all of the ball is poor. He gambles too much, mate. You have to gamble in sport. I know what you mean. But that was obviously Joe Hart's downfall. That was also Adrian's downfall because he gambles quite a fair bit. You have to gamble every now and again. Yeah, I'm not really liking that. It's all right, but I wouldn't have it again. Mark says I wouldn't risk putting Rice in defence at this stage of the season. It will mess up the midfield. Good point. Again, he was trying things out, and again, we didn't keep a clean sheet on that either, for that matter. Now, that photo that everyone has been talking about over the last few days, apparently that photograph where you can see Fabianski making a save with Rice with the captain's armband is it's Creswell next to Rice, not Noble. So But as I said, it doesn't really mean anything. I said, and I did when I did my team sheet of it as well. I said that left Noble out for the second game. There's no need to do it. He's far from the player that needs to have 2 games to get his match fitness up. The Palace game all seems to be more built around tactics more than anything else. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that. But if Rice is captain for the Wolves game, wouldn't be at all surprised. Wouldn't be surprised, and it'd be a bit controversial from one point of view. But I don't think that was the cause of it. I honestly think that they were just trying to see how Rice got on as a captain, because he's only had the captain's armband once, I think. Again, I think that was the friendly last year as well. So, yeah. But, Mark, you make a good point. Hello, Danny. Good to see you, mate. Christian Jevi. He's a Chelsea fan. Hello, mate. But I hope you guys avoid relegation this season. See if you say that after we play you in a couple of weeks, mate. But thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say so, and it's nice to see an opposition fan, because I don't mind. This platform's open to anybody, within reason, of course. But Christian, thank you very much for your words, mate. That's very kind of you. Mark says another reason why Cresswell needs his haircut. He's morphing into Noble, because the angle apparently of the reason why was seeing the loop, the back loop of the 3 was mistaking it for the front loop of the 6. So I can understand that. I mean, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's a friendly, for fuck's sake. It doesn't matter. Again, so backing up the same, what I'm basically saying, I wouldn't worry too much about the friendlies. They mean nothing. I heard there was a substitute after substitute. It has to be, yeah, because they're trying to get people as fit as quickly as possible. And as I said, it was good. It was good that they've tried to blend them in one after the other, just try and get people to get, as I say, try and get as much fitness and get used to the schedule as much as possible, as we talked about yesterday. Dale's in. Hello, guys. Good evening. Welcome into the party, fella. Hope you're doing all right. Good to see you, mate. Now, talking to Declan Rice, he's done another interview that went up recently. So let's talk about. If you guys haven't read this or heard this yet, it's talking about the again, there's very similar thing to what Cresswell said the other day, and very similar to what Fabianski said yesterday. So it's obviously media bombshell at the moment. Carpet bombing, I should say. The fans are an integral part of what we do. When you walk out there and you've got 60,000 screaming your name, and every time you tackle or take a shot, it gives you that edge, and it's a big thanks to them. I've never heard people shout Rice. I've heard people sing the Rice Baby song a few times, but we don't hear everything in it. It's obviously going to be tough that we can't play in front of them, but they've got to respect what's going on in the world at the moment, and hopefully they can sit at home and all of them can tune in and watch us. Obviously, it's difficult. It's different for them, but we get their support on social media from all around the world, and we're going to need that positivity. I couldn't agree more. And then it's nice that you guys are all over the world as well, give me support every single evening. I really do appreciate it. Then he goes on to talk about a few other little bits and pieces. He says, every club is the same, and we've got to respect what's going on, and I'm sure our fans will. They'll be at home cheering. I know what West Ham fans are like, and they'll be there cheering us on. For me personally, the fans are great with me. I get some great messages from the fans. And when you see little things, it really brightens up your day. So we're raring to go, and we want to make the fans happy. Now, as I say, that's very, very similar to Cresswell's thing, because it's the raring to go a few times. So that's obviously from the PR standpoint. They're saying to say we're raring to go as much as you can to get it in there, because I think Cresswell said it about 2 or 3 times. Fabianski mentioned it, and Declan Rice has mentioned it. So it's not a criticism in any shape or form. It's just quite clearly obvious that it's a media thing from the media company, but it's a good thing to hear nonetheless. Very, very good thing nonetheless, because obviously, as I say, in 2 days' time, the football is back. on the very unprecedented week. We are literally, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do these conversations. Is not obviously to keep everybody entertained as much as I can, and to keep everybody in good spirits as much as we are all doing with each other, most of us. It's just more the fact that this is documented, that because this is the first ever time that this, in a way, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all the platforms, even dating sites and dating apps, all what's the word I was just about to say? Time capsules. They're all time capsules of how everybody's feeling about things, not just for West Ham, but in general, everything about how everybody's feeling. And we are documenting history as we speak now. Every single one of us, myself, West Ham Fan TV, Arsenal Fan TV, even like Cinemassacre, when they go off on tangents, every single person that is on YouTube that mentions what's going on with the coronavirus is contributing to history. Every single one of them. And I'm very proud, and I hope you guys are as well, for that matter, to feel very proud that we are all documenting history together. Gary says it's a shame the club don't ask fans to send in videos to put on the screens when they warm up. Well, this is a funny thing, Gary. We'll come on to this in a minute. And he says, I just hope it's true that they're up for it and we get a good start to the restart. James, good evening, mate. Hope you're all right. Kent says, first games I've missed at London Stadium since we moved, but needs must. # football is nothing without fans. Dell says, hearing Rice to cover Ogbonna's position, what are your thoughts about it, and should he be captain? We talked about it before, mate, just literally about a couple of minutes before you came on. I can understand the thinking, because let's not forget, a lot of people seemed to have forgotten this. But Rice's natural position was at centre back. Remember, he came through the academy process for a year and a half as he was with us at centre back. He made his debut as centre back, and it was what was it? Was it Mize? Was it Mize that put him in defensive midfield first time round? I can't remember. I think he did. But yeah. Yeah, so it's his natural position to be a defender. So I have no regrets with that at all. Mark made a very good point on it, Dale, earlier, that it may mess up the midfield, but at the same point, the strategies and the tactics have all been done in the friendlies this week. Sorry, last week I should say. So it's not really going to be bad. It's not going to be really that bad in that regards. But at the same point, yeah. It's completely understandable. Should he be captain? If Noble and Creswell aren't on the field, then 100%. Maybe give him a run out. I can't see it being at Wolves, but you never know, mate. You never know. Mark says, never uses dating app in his life. I'm far too good looking to need one. Yeah, okay, sunshine. And Andy says, yeah, you could tune into the correct stream, Mark. James says Rice can play centre back better than Ogbonna and Balbuena, arguably, although he is key in midfield. He's key everywhere, mate. He's key that he is key to that spinal cord of the defence and the midfield, as you're saying. That's the whole point of us holding midfielder or defensive midfielder, however which way you want to look at it. It's the fact that he covers the defence and knows how to defend when needed, and obviously knows how to get the ball up into the midfield again when needed as well. The next subject, as I said, Gary, is we're talking about fan videos, or fan video walls, I should say. There's a very, very good article on WHU. When they're not talking about West Ham stuff, I actually quite believe them. So the Premier League clubs will give their supporters the chance to appear on live video walls at stadia during the remaining top-flight fixtures. Spurs has become the first top-flight club to offer their fans the chance to appear on a live video wall that can be streamed into the stadium for their game against Manchester United live on Sky. Yeah, it's a shameless plug for those guys. All of the Premier League's remaining matches will be behind closed doors, so clubs are looking for ways to gain an advantage for their home matches, with Spurs set to feed in video footage of their supporters at various points. So it's not really live feed in that case, is it? Fans must enter a competition showing themselves kitted out on the sofa. God, why would you want to do that? Be a full kit wanker sitting on the sofa. Fuck that. And will be encouraged to react to events in the game as they happen, though no audio will be played into the stadium. That's a good sign. Then it goes on about the Spurs club statement. It says, we are giving supporters the chance to be part of a live video fan wall during our first ever behind closed doors Premier League match against Man United on Friday night. Spurs Inside is another first for the club, streamed live on our giant video screens in the Stadium Bowl intimately throughout the match so that the players will know fans are watching and cheering them on. Come on, they're not that stupid. They know. We are providing a select number of season ticket holders and executive members, our regular match attenders, the opportunity to be part of this unique experience. The competition says you will need a device with webcam, a Zoom account, a subscription with the television broadcaster showing the match in your location, and fast and secure internet security. Other clubs, including West Ham, are yet to announce their fan video walls and selection criteria. Now, I think it's a fantastic idea. I really, really do. Not to the following stuff that that Claret and Hugh article is going on about, but I do think it's a good idea. I mean, why would you want to get yourselves on a fully kitted out? It's ridiculous, but I can understand the reasons behind it. You know, so because the Bundesliga had cardboard cutouts, we've been asked to have our submit photos for a montage of pictures around the stadium so people know. I mean, it'd be quite funny if my pitch is going to be close to it all. It'd be quite funny if my picture gets quite close, I should say, to the where my seat is, and the bobby more lower. But yeah, it'd be funny. It's a bit extreme. Kent says we all dream of a team of Declan Rice. JJ, hello mate. Sorry I'm a bit late, but better late than never. Mark, so how is streaming a live feed going to help the team? Are these people nuts? Well, yeah, exactly, because a live stream, even when it's as close as you get, is at least 10 to 15 seconds behind the game as it goes anyway. Even if you're watching it live on Sky, it's not instantaneous. The goal would have been scored 3 or 4, 5 or 6 seconds beforehand. So for example, you know how funny it is when a goal is scored and we hear the away fans celebrating about 5 or 6 seconds later. It's that sort of delay. So it's pointless. It's completely pointless. But at the same point, it is a good idea. I get it, but it should really be pre-recorded stuff. I mean, how are you going to verify that you got an account with Sky? It's stupid. James says, got to be honest, I don't really care if we have fans on the big screen and having a full kit wanker sitting around. That's what Spurs are doing, James, just to be clear. All I care is the lads putting in 100% and getting the 3 points. Come on, you wine. So great, mate. That's the bottom line of it. That's all it is. James says, at the end of the day, seeing my ugly face on a big screen and playing championship football. Rick agrees with you, Jimmy. And he says, we should just stick the South Korean model for fans in the stadium. Dave S is up for it. That would be funny. Live stream, then Grandad walks past the camera in his white front. Oh dear. Well, even if we're approached to do it, I wouldn't be able to do it because I'll be doing live streams with you guys, doing the live watch-alongs. JJ's, I think the delay has a lot to do with betting companies. Kind of, but no, it's seriously, mate. It's the processing of it all, and bearing in mind it's Sky, yeah, so it's bounced around the world on various satellites. So it's never instantaneous. It's never like being at the ground. It never has been, and it never ever will be. That's why, for example, if you're listening to a game on the radio and watching the telly, the radio broadcast is before the TV broadcast because it's all about the processing time. It's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with betting companies, mate. It's got nothing to do with it. Baron says cardboard cutout fans sounds like they're talking about Man City. Man City fans. James says we should never copy anything Spurs do. As much as I want to agree with you on that one, mate, I kind of have to disagree to a degree, because they've got the right way of doing things. Again, as Gonzo quite rightly said, and I think recently, and also Luke with his all the gear now idea that on Sunday morning was saying they wisely invested the sale of Modric and Bale, and that's the sort of thing that we need to be doing. And hopefully at one time, God forbid if we sell in any very, very vital players as Bale was and as Modric was for Spurs, then if we invest our money wisely, which would be a fucking miracle, but if we do, then that's how the club will grow. But I know what you mean, mate. I know where you're coming from it. Gary says, what about a Mooney if the other team scores? yeah, that's they might because even that's going to have a few seconds delay itself, so they might be able to switch it before anything bad happens. Now, guys, what I don't know if you've seen this yet. Let me put this up for you. The details on Bournemouth's next season kit are available. I don't know. Again, as I say, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Now, it's not really that relevant to us, but because it's Umbro, Football London have done an article about it. So let me just put this this picture up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, here we go. So that's Bournemouth's kit for next season. Not a fan, if I'm honest. Where's the other picture? There we go. Not a fan of that. Look, that looks fucking awful. That looks absolutely terrible. But there's as this article says, where are we? West Ham's 2021 kits have not been released yet, but another one made by the Hammers kit supplier has, and it could be a clue as to how the next one might look. Umbros is West Ham's kit supply until 2023, having penned a new extension to the deal, blah, 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 blah. Umbro will be responsible for producing the special commemorative kit for the 2021 season that will mark West Ham United's 125th anniversary. Talking about next season's kit seems a bit stupid considering the 1920 campaign hasn't finished yet, but it's set for return later this week and when the Hammers face the Wolves and blah, blah, blah. So while West Ham won't be changing kit suppliers, their current one has revealed a strip for fellow Premier League outfit Bournemouth. The Cherries also blah, 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 blah. The spiel for their search is this kit's design takes a distinctive new approach on the Cherries' iconic red and black stripes. That's one way of putting it. Incorporating a bold gradient stripe, jacketed front, blah, 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 blah. Where's the bit I was reading that's actually quite relevant to what we're talking about? While the colours won't be the same, quite often kit makers have similar templates for all their kits they supply to their clubs. Football London understands the players have seen the new kits for next season, exactly as I said last week. But the photo shot has yet to take place, because obviously X confirmed it in the podcast on Wednesday. So could this be the neck design? Could this be what the neck design could look like on West Ham kits next season? It's not quite the same as the V-neck that has adorned the Hammers shirts this season, but it's not a million miles away. The Hammers have had 3 kits this season. The third kit was a navy blue number, blah, 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 blah. What we do know is they won't include sleeve, sponsor, Bassett and Gold, for obvious reasons. So, yeah, so if we had that sort of neck, I'm not a big fan of the bit underneath the middle of the neck, if I'm honest with you. But it's kind of an indication to a degree. I really, really do. So if we have that sort of high neck, as you can see, the t-shirt I'm wearing here is quite high neck as well. I quite like it. So if we had something very similar to that, because the template will basically be a Hammers kit over that design, quite frankly. So yeah, as I say, it's not for the design of everything itself, just in terms of how the presentation will look. As I say, with a little bit of a incline down here in the middle and stuff. See what Kent Hammer says. I hate watching West Ham on TV. period, aka full stop, as we say in the UK. But needs must. There's nothing like being at the game and seeing 2 goals going in. Yeah, we do see 2 goals going in, mate. Usually it's in the back of our bloody net, but yeah, I know what you mean. Bournemouth says, Mark Nish says Bournemouth's kit looks the same as every year, as does Liverpool's. Yeah, Rick doesn't like the Bournemouth one. I mean, they've broken the lines up. They've played higgledy-piggled and done that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's to say it's just how it looks, not the design, but how the whole of the design itself, not the logo and all that sort of stuff. It's how it's going to be. I mean, it's not that much, to be honest with you, but you kind of get a bit of a imagination going, looking at that, trying to imagine. I mean, at least I have, since I've been looking at that article, getting it all up and running. You know, it's all right, actually. It's not. I mean, for Bournemouth, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it keeps their heritage, but we're just with a slightly different tint on it, which is quite nice, and that's the sort of thing that I'd like us to have for the 125th anniversary. I think it'd be brilliant. I think it'd be a very good idea. But yeah, just keeping it simple. I mean, there was one kit that was floating around, concept kit, which is absolutely fucking awful. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was absolutely awful. It was claret at the bottom, dark blue at the top with bubbles all over it. It looked awful, terrible. I mean, I know it's concept kit and that's people making it on Adobe Pro and all that sort of stuff, but it's just, oh God, no. Kent says, I was hoping our kit design was going to be a bit different given the anniversary. As I say, it will be, mate. That's what they're saying about. But as I say, it's using your imagination to see how the kit will look, not the design, the actual design of the kit itself, not the pictures or anything. It's literally how the neckline's going to look, how the shoulder cut's going to be. You know, yeah. Mark's saying that terrible top. Yeah, it is, man. It's fucking awful. And then loads of people saying, but a lot of people don't understand. Gary Page says he wants the old badge back. I'll be very surprised if they do, mate. I think the closest we'll get to it is the old 60s badge. I reckon that's what we're gonna have. But we'll find out in a few weeks' time. Now, talking of which, we've mentioned a few times about the transfer window. Now, the Football Fan Base did a very, very good article about this. Very, very good article. So I'll just read it out to you. There's a lot of hooey in the article, but some of it is very, very good. They've confirmed that it's an article through the Telegraph. So let's actually bring it up so we're quoting it from it directly. It said FIFA could keep next transfer window open as far as January, as clubs count the cost of the coronavirus crisis. Oh, bear with me 2 moments, mate. Sorry. PC's having a bit of a wobble. Laptop's having a bit of a wobbly. Okay. Spending is expected to fall when the season finally finishes, and extending the transfer window may encourage a return to business as usual. FIFA will talk to clubs about keeping the next transfer window open, possibly, I'll say possibly, as far as next January, to keep money flowing through football. Owners and players are expected to take a financial hit as a result of the coronavirus bringing sport to a grinding halt, with spending on transfers expected to fall when the season eventually finishes. Understandable. You know, the British economy is dropped by just over 20%, so it's completely understandable. There has been support from some chief executives to lengthen the next period of trading for players so money gets spent while football gets back on its feet. England winger Jadon Sancho was set to be one of the biggest deals of the summer, but Borussia Dortmund accepted he would be after Borussia Dortmund accepted apologies. He would be leaving after 3 years in Germany. But there is now uncertainty over whether owners have the appetite to spend big after such damaging period dealing with the fallout from COVID-19. Blah 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 blah. So basically, in a nutshell, we could be seeing a very, very long transfer window. To a degree, it's kind of like back to the very, 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 very old days of football, aka way before the birth of the Premier League, where people could, to a degree, people could come and go as they pleased. I mean, obviously, if it is going to be extending way past the normal 5-6 weeks that the summer transfer window normally is, that of course, if that's for argument's sake, we might not have another season next season. We just don't know at this point, because it depends what happens over the next few weeks. I mean, all these fixtures that have been coming out, and all these stories about what the government are trying to do over the next few weeks, weeks and months, trying to get back to normality, is all subject to no spikes, and that includes football, that includes all sports. So it'd be interesting. I mean, it'd be quite nice to a degree to have a rolling summer transfer window. But maybe it might have to default down a little bit to be loans, possibly. Maybe have a loan window a little bit longer as well. It'd be interesting to see what happens, what they do with it. It really, really does seem. I mean, guys, let me know your thoughts on having a longer transfer window than normal. I mean, what the bloody hell's normal now anyway, to be honest with you. But it's to see what so Gary says. So the big boys can come in whenever they want and get some injuries and take our best players. Great. Can see some tapping up going on here. Yeah, well, it's going to happen, mate. Yeah. As Andy is saying, back in the good old days, transfers were all year round. Yeah, they were, mate. Completely. And that's what I'm saying about the way before the Premier League even got a sniff of being an idea. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll be good. It'll be really, really good. Okay, where are we? So no one else has really put any comments in yet. So we'll go to the final topic that I wanted to talk about, because I try to give you guys about 15 minutes worth of stuff that I want you to talk about, because it's a two-way conversation the whole time. As I'm interacting with you, and you guys are interacting with yourselves as well, for that matter. I think Mark's interacted with himself a little bit more than he usually does. But yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about is Brighton and Hove Independent. Now, I refer to this quite a lot because the first time I tried them, that was that crazy thing that was going on with the calculations of wages and stuff, so money coming in from the TV deals and whatnot. But they actually did fix it a few hours after we stopped the stream, and it made a bit more sense. Was actually like it was originally, but they've basically teamed up with Football Manager 2020, if I remember correctly, who sponsor Watford. I think they're one of the sponsors of Watford, so it would have made a bit more sense for them to do it, but doesn't matter nonetheless. But yeah, they've basically done what they think is going to be the resumption of the transfer, the resumption of the season's league. So they reckon Liverpool are going to be at the number one spot with 99 points, not that far different than the one we talked about the other day. Winning 32 games, drawing 3 games, and losing 3 games with a goal difference of plus 55. Understandable. Again, second Manchester City on 79 points. 25 wins, 4 draws, and 9 losses with a goal difference of plus 49. Manchester United at third with 70 points, winning 20, drawing 10, and losing 8 with a goal difference of plus 26. Fourth, Christian, if you're still here, Football Manager 2020 expects Chelsea to finish fourth on 70 points, winning 21 points, drawing 7 and losing 10 with a goal difference of 25 plus 25. Now, the funny thing is as a guitarist, he's not. I don't think he's not in. He's not in tonight. But as a guitarist, seeing D7 automatically makes you think of a chord. The chord that's D major 7, basically. So anyway, bonus fact for you there. Leicester at 5th with 61 points, winning 18 games, drawing 7 and losing 13 with a goal difference of plus 27. They predict Spurs will finish at 6th on 61 points, winning 17 games, drawing 10 and losing 111 apparently, but I reckon they just mean 11 with a goal difference of plus 16. Arsenal finishing 7th at 60 points with 15 wins, 15 draws and 8 losses with a goal difference of plus 13. Burnley at position 8 with 54 points, winning 15, drawing 9 and losing 14 with a 0 goal difference. Now that really, really helps the campaign. It really does. When we finished the last season, the bowling season, we finished on plus goal difference for the first time in a long time. That was brilliant. 9th, Wolves at 51 points, winning 12, drawing 15 and losing 11 with a goal difference of plus 4. Sheffield United finishing 10th on 51 points, winning 12, drawing 15, losing 11 with a goal difference of minus 4. Everton with 50 points at 11th, winning 14 points, drawing 8 and losing 16 with a goal difference of minus 8. Southampton at 12th with 46 points, winning 14 games, drawing 4 and losing 20 with a goal difference of minus 21. Go on to the next page. Newcastle finishing 13th with 43 points, winning 11, losing 17 and drawing 10 with a goal difference of minus 23. Crystal Palace finishing at 14th on 39 points, winning 10, drawing 9, losing 19 with a goal difference of minus 23. West Ham finishing 15th on 38 points, winning 10, drawing 8, losing 20 with a goal difference of minus 14. I'd take that. Finishing 16th at 38 points is Bournemouth, winning 10, drawing 8, losing 12 with a goal difference of minus 18. And 17th, Villa on 38 points, are just escaping relegation. Villa winning 11, drawing 5 and losing 22 games with a minus goal difference of 26. Relegated at 18th place with 37 points is Watford, who have won 9 games, drawn 10 and lost 19 on a goal difference of minus 24. Relegated at 19th place with Brighton and Hove Albion on 34 points, winning 7, drawing 13, losing 8 with a goal difference of minus 19. And bottom of the pile, Norwich City, winning 9, drawing 6 and losing 23 with a goal difference of minus 35. So, yeah. It's quite an interesting one, that. Just so I finish up here. So, guys, would you take 15th? Would you take that position with 38 points? I mean, that would be very, very nice to have. It'd be very nice to have it. Let me know. And also, by all means, guys, we've got just under 12 minutes left. So is there anything you want to ask me or discuss anything? So I see you're talking with each other at the minute. And he says, with no fans in stadiums, I think there'll be a few massive shocks to come. Agreed. Rick says, with what shocks do you think will come, Andy? Andy says, someone like Liverpool losing 3 or 4, the bounce or bottom side, not losing any games. Could happen. Baron says, that's an interesting table. I'll take anything above relegation. Of course we would. Mark says, I'd take anything that keeps us up. But as I said, I don't mind going down. I'm going to ignore that joke there, mate. Guess we've got a few nippers in there. I'm going to ignore that one. Rick says, yeah, I'll take 38 points. I mean, that's a couple of points off what I was thinking. I'm still sticking to my guns. I honestly think we're going to only get 9 points from these 9 games, and therefore we're going to be on. Hang on. Actually, let me just double check the table. 27. So yeah, 36. Yeah, I'd completely forgot about the fact that we were on 27 points. I know it was 20, roughly that, but yeah, I honestly think we're going to finish. If we finish any higher than 36 points, I'll be very, very happy, very, very happy. But as Andy's saying, there's absolutely anything is possible. We could see Liverpool lose 3 on the bounce. We could see City win three or four games straight. Because actually, that's not a bad point. Let's just have a look at the table. Because actually, do you know what? It could happen. Standings. Come on, right? It could happen, right? Because as it stands at the minute, City have a game in hand over Liverpool, hence it being on the first, being Wednesday night. So if City win that game against Arsenal, they're on 60 points, 12 points behind Liverpool, with 10 games to go. So, for example, as Andy says, if Liverpool lose 3 or 4 of those games, and if City win, let's say for argument's sake that over the next 9 games, once City have played catch up, City win 5 of those, Liverpool win 4, and City lose 3 and Liverpool lose 4. It's going to be close. It is really, really going to be close. I still think Liverpool are going to do it. I really, really think we're going to do it. That Liverpool are going to stay up. So I was just reading Andy's comment there where he says, "Still not convinced we will stay up. I'll reserve my judgment until after Saturday." Agreed. We can't. Andy, mate. That is exactly the way to think about it. Absolutely the way to think about it. Like I said, I didn't mean it in that way. Of course you didn't, fella. Andy says, his Crossed Hammers tin of DVDs arrived today. My birthday present bought. Fantastic, mate. Good. It's an absolute bargain. Absolute bargain. You know, was it half a ton if I remember right? Really, really good. Really good. So enjoy them, mate. Enjoy them. Gary said we could be 19th if we lose our first game and games go against us. Yeah. It's an unknown quantity at the minute, mate. Baron says, I reckon we can still make Europe. Really? How on earth do you reckon that one? Mark says, buying your own birthday present, Andy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so. But yeah. Yeah, but you know, it's entertaining. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch it. My landlord, he popped round earlier today. He's a West Ham supporter. And he was asking me if I'm looking forward to it, and I said the only thing is the fact that the fact that you know I've loved having my blood level, my blood pressure this low for the last 3 months. It's been brilliant. It really has been brilliant. But we'll see over the next 6 weeks. Liverpool only need 6 points and they're champions. It's over. Yeah, but as I say, mate, if Liverpool go on a run where they're dropping points and Man City don't drop points, it's going to make it very, very tight. As I say, because if they win on Wednesday night, they're only 12. They're 12 points. Liverpool 12 points behind Liverpool. I know it's possible. It's possible. As I say, I still think Liverpool are going to do it, but anything can happen. And as Andy has just said, agreed, Mark, but you just never know. Dale says, love listening in, fella. Some good points. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Mark says 22 points, John. Sorry, yes, he did. Sorry, yeah, sorry, I was misreading the table. But whereas it's 22 points, so but even so, you never know. It still could happen. Still could happen. It still really could happen. But 5 minutes left, guys. Anything you want to talk about? As I'm enjoying this very, very odd but quite nicely tasted strawberry. Where is it? Strawberry and vanilla stout. It's an interesting one. So while I'm waiting for you guys to come in, there's nothing really breaking at the moment. I mean, everyone's going on about Mikel Arteta's interview and what his conversations have been with. His conversations have been with Aubameyang and stuff about keeping him on. Blah blah. Sorry about that, guys. Not sure really what happened there, but Dale says we'll win every game. You're putting that back rightly, JP. Thank you, mate. Yeah, Andy again makes a very, very good point. Just remember Newcastle and United and the mind games. Yeah, I don't Klopp and Guardiola don't do that. But you're right. You know they don't do that stuff. You know they're there's none of that mind games and stuff from Ferguson and there's none of that stuff anymore. I mean, in a way, I mean, I suppose from one point of view, Mourinho does it a little bit still, but his mind games are normally more with the press than they are with other managers now. But yeah, it's just that is the stuff that I miss about those days. You know, the Wenger's temper tantrums and Ferguson's very aggressive stuff. Mark says, "Don't get me wrong, I'd love it if they'd messed it up." Yeah, it would be funny. It would be funny because they messed it up last season, and they could mess it up again, but you never know. Dell says United are right for a beating. Not a great side, Newcastle. We got them in our back pocket. Yeah, well, we didn't really when we played them at London Stadium, mate. That was awful. That game. Terrible. And we're going to St James's Park in a few weeks. Not even that. I was like two and a bit weeks. Yeah, 2 and a bit weeks. It's we've never had any luck up there, but you never know. With a fully fit squad, as I was saying to my landlord, I said that the good thing about the friendlies is we talked about is that there's no new injuries. But knowing our bloody luck, we'll have that's a good point. I'll come to that in a minute. But knowing our bloody luck, we'll get about 2 or 3 injuries on Saturday. I hope I haven't jinxed it, but it's a distinct possibility. Dell says takeover uncertainty could have an impact. Agreed, it certainly could. Deals take at least a year to do, at least, especially when it comes to these sort of circumstances and the background checks that everything needs to be done. So we're 7-8 months into it now. Andy says, but would affect Newcastle at home with no fans rather than us on the back foot. So, do you mean would or could there, mate? Because it sounds like more you meant, but could affect Newcastle at home with no fans rather than us on the back foot. Or would it? One of the two. But yeah, absolutely. Now, what's just come to me just before I wrap this up is obviously the friendly on Saturday was 3 sets of 30 minutes. Do you reckon we're going to see that in the Premier League? Or do you reckon it's going to be like as it's been with the Bundesliga, where it's going to, and every other league, it's going to be 45-45? But do you reckon that we could see a little bit of a change in the way the game is played over the next week or so? I really hope it's not, because that's going into NFL territory. It really is going into NFL territory. But at the same point, same point. It could help with injuries. JJ says read an article about Ben Foster. He was announced and don't want background noise as one game they played. The singing was not really sure what you're on about there, Jay. I mean, obviously we talked about Ben Foster a few days. Was it the weekend when his contract was signed? So hopefully that will be. That'll be put the rumours to death that we're not trying to get from anymore. Mark says hopefully 45-45. JJ says the referee's a wanker. They will do 45 each way. You'd think, Rick, but you never. Again, you never know. You never know. Dale says, imagine when we win all our games and the Spurs lose all of theirs. Boom. Oh, that would be fantastic, mate. That would be superb. And Andy's 45-45 for him. Yeah. And and as it should be. But things are changing all the time. Things are changing, so you never know. It would make complete sense because at the end of the day, the kickoff times are roughly the same: the 12:30, the 3 o'clock, the 5:30s, etc., etc., 8 o'clocks as well. So even there was opposition about that coming in last season when we were talking about it, having 8 o'clock kickoffs on the Sunday and all that sort of stuff, and now it's going to be the norm. So and anything's possible. But guys, thank you very, very much for your time. It's been great to talk to you all as usual. Dell is brilliant. It's brilliant when you're talking about it. Before we go, Baron says football proves the earth is flat. Anyway, look at the bitch, no curve. Have you been watching the football, the first 11? Because that's the first team, I should say. Because that's the first. That's a joke in that, by the way. If you haven't, but guys, I say Dell, Andy, Rick, Mark, Jay, everybody, it's been fantastic you joining in as well. It'd be nice to get some more people on board as well, for that matter. So spread the word, everybody. Dell, retweet this. Jay, same to you. Mark, spread it on Facebook, whatever. Kent Hammers, please, do the same. It'd be fantastic for you guys to do it, because it'd be nice to get us back to that 1540, much less trying to get us to 1600, because I still want to play that guitar for you guys. I really, really do. But anyway, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. If you're new around here, as I say, it's been great to see you. Please do consider subscribing, because we're doing this every single night at 6:30. If you guys have got any available cash, which I'm sure I haven't. I'm bloody skint for the next couple of weeks. But get yourself something from 3 Retro, or But in the meantime, guys, relax. Hopefully, we should be getting the West Ham face covering soon. So that they're ordering. They should be shipping this week. So hopefully, I'll be able to get them. Otherwise, I can't go shoot food shopping on the weekend. But guys, thanks very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you same time tomorrow. All the best. Take care.